people, but CEOs
Sure.
have to pay a regular rate. But these guys do not. They're at 20%. What do you personally think? Where would you stand on that?
It's pretty simple. We want earned income to be taxed as earned income, and we want profit to be taxed at the lower rate.
That was Republican Senator Tim Scott on our show yesterday, walking a very fine line in his answer to our question about this carried interest loophole and whether it should be closed. We've scrutinized so far what the Senate has released to us about their tax plan proposal, which had just been revealed right when we interviewed that senator. That loophole, which allows many private equity billionaires to pay a skinny 20% tax rate because their income is counted as profits. And it's now seemingly nowhere to be seen in the Senate proposal. So why is Congress so willing to protect the private equity investor class? Former so-called fat cat UBS America's chairman and Fox contributor Robert Wolf is here. And, of course, it was President Obama who called bankers fat cats during the financial crisis and the recession. But you didn't get to pay the so-called 20% carried interest rate.
No, but before, I just have to take a pause. I met an incredible group of individuals, former veterans,
They're in the green
room. And I just want to applaud what you've done for building homes for heroes. I mean, honestly, what they say about what you've done for that organization, raising $30 million plus, receiving their award last night, it would be remiss for me not to give them a round of applause because what they've done is amazing.
Thank you,
to my
Robert.
pal George as well.
Yeah, listen, it's
I'm not allowed to
amazing.
say his name because he's still actually technically in the Army.
Well, by the way, you're going to hear from those guys in
So
just
carried
a moment.
interest.
Yeah, carried interest. Back to the
Listen,
juice of the matter.
I'm not backing off here, but the truth is this is not tax reform. This is a corporate tax cut. Okay, that's what this plan is. And then they're trying to fill in where they can get it under a $1.5 trillion addition to the deficit. The truth is they're throwing a whole slew of things against the wall. And on the private equity and side of it, you know, on the carried interest, that may come back up because the president may say, hey, this is what I campaigned on.
He did.
And I'm not disagreeing with that, but the truth is right now their focus is getting on this corporate tax cut. This is not really impacting the personal income side, except for actually raising taxes, okay, from sales and from the local and state taxes.
But they're going to argue till the end of time that this is a cut for the middle class because some of those brackets do bring the rates down. Fine. But none of those rates for the regular folks out there, and I'm talking about all of you watching, unless you're in some division of private equity that allows you to count your money as profits, which is taxed at the capital gains rate of 20%. They don't get that.
Listen, the private equity and hedge fund guys would be the first to say, okay, they
say what? They've gotten a great deal.
They would say, listen,
it's totally
they've
legal.
gotten a great deal. It's totally legal. And if they change it under this new tax policy, they would understand it. They're not the ones lobbying left and right.
I think you're totally wrong.
I mean, I have no axe. But
I know.
They're
well,
just not the
who
ones.
would lobby for billionaires? Look, it's been Warren Buffett who gets that low tax rate, has said, wait, why is my secretary paying a higher tax rate than I am?
No, I totally agree, and that's why they said there should be a 30%
But then who's
minimum.
advocating for these guys?
I just don't think they're up on the hill lobbying for this.
They pay people to do that.
No, they caved in on this years ago, knowing that they were going to get hit. I think they're unbelievably pleasantly surprised that's not part of it. I think like they're just keeping their mouths zippered and saying, let's not lobby it because us not saying anything, it's going our way.
Okay. With all due respect,
the other way.
I think you're in la-la land. I think Stephen Schwartzman knows the president. These people have called him up and said, hey, just move that aside and keep saying it's a rounding error. It's psychologically not a rounding error.
I agree with, listen.
What about the corporate rate? Do you think that delaying it by a year, which is what the Senate plan does, will somehow harm corporate profits that were anticipated to be improved under the new plan if it didn't come immediately?
I don't like that approach at all. I think
the delay. You don't like the delay.
I think it makes no sense. They're only doing it because of the dynamic scoring. They should set it. Why don't you start then with 25% if 20 is not right? Set it to an amount that gets it under the $1.5 trillion level so it can get passed under reconciliation. First of all, like I said, this is a corporate tax plan. This is not about personal taxes. This is not about income taxes. This is about getting the corporate rate down, getting repatriation going, and getting companies to try to hire again, which, by the way, we know last time they did this on the repatriation, They bought shares back and they did a dividend.
And they laid people off.
Okay, so this is good for companies, which is fine. We're corporate America, that's fine, but they should focus on the individual. I think that this will not pass by year end. Okay, the Senate and House are not close. Okay, they're just not that close. And then that's only in conference. Then you have to go and vote on it. They need to get 50+ votes. It's just not going to be that easy.
And
because
before Thanksgiving, no way.
Just because you still have some fiscal hawks, okay, on the Republican side. Not everyone's saying, hey, let's add $1.5 trillion to our debt.
Well, I'm pretty sure of this. The president will be very angry if they don't pass it, at least by the year end, because that's what he has promised. That's what he wants. The American people have gotten all excited about that.
Listen, I think there's high likelihood we will see a tax cut. I don't think it will be before year end. It will probably be retroactive, but it's not tax reform. Okay? Even the president keeps saying it's tax cut, it's tax cut, it's tax cut.